Next up is Ambassador Scot Marciel. He has made strengthening the commercial relationship between Indonesia and the United States a top priority. Ambassador Marciel, under his leadership, Mission Indonesia has been focused on trying to get more U.S. businesses to Indonesia and streamlining the U.S. government support. Ambassador Marciel, please tell us more about your work in Indonesia.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It's great but difficult to follow my colleague, Jeff Bleich. I don't have an Outback hat to dust off or anything. I'll try to be very brief. You know, part of the challenge in Indonesia is, frankly, explaining to people in the United States the opportunities. Many American business people don't know Indonesia is the 4th largest country in the world. It's growing at 6.5% last year, expected to grow about the same this year. It's got about an $800 billion economy right now, and will probably hit the $1 trillion mark in the next 2 years. With that comes tremendous opportunities. With that rapid growth and that huge market, enormous opportunities, particularly in infrastructure, because infrastructure in Indonesia is really lagging. But also with that comes tremendous challenges. As some of you may have heard, Indonesia is not the easiest place to do business. According to the World Bank Ease of Doing Business survey, it ranks 129th in the world. So there's some challenges. There's also tremendous competition because increasingly other countries, businessmen from other countries have seen the opportunities in Indonesia and frankly are flooding in. So tremendous competition for all these deals. Still, we see huge opportunities for the United States. Right now, bilateral trade between the two countries last year was only about $25 billion, which is very small when you consider the combined population is 550 million people. So there's huge opportunities. Frankly, we've been underperforming. To take advantage of those opportunities and increase our performance, the only way ahead, again, as the Deputy Secretary said, Ambassador Bleich said, it's got to be partnership. It's got to be the U.S. government working with the business community. So we're very pleased that we have a very close working relationship with the American Chamber of Commerce as well as with other industry groups. And we focus on a couple things. The sort of traditional advocacy that I think embassies have long done around the world, huge advocacy opportunities and needs in Indonesia. A lot of work with the business community to identify legal and regulatory obstacles that get in the way of both investment and exports, and working with the government to try to deal with those. But my own view, and we've been talking to the AmCham a lot about this recently, is we need to go a step further. For many of the opportunities in Indonesia, particularly in infrastructure, our competitors are going in with full solutions. In other words, they're not going in to sell a particular item or service. They're coming in saying, we can give you this power plant or sell you this power plant, the turbines, all the services that go with it, the other equipment, and the financing. And increasingly, I'm convinced in Indonesia and maybe in some other countries, we, the U.S. government and the business community, need to find a way to come in earlier, not wait till there's a problem or last-minute advocacy, but start very early identifying projects and opportunities for U.S. companies and then working together as a team to put together those packages. So we've had a number of discussions with AmCham about that, most recently on the power sector, where our AmCham colleagues helped us identify those particular areas in the power industry where U.S. companies have the best chance of competing. And that's what we're going to focus on. Identify the opportunities, then bring together Export-Import Bank, OPIC, Trade Development Administration, advocacy with the key companies, and go in and try to do package deals. Thank you very much. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Ambassador Sung Kim was confirmed as the U.S. Ambassador to Korea in October 2011. A longtime member of the Foreign Service, he has extensive experience in Asia, having worked in the U.S. missions in Tokyo, Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Kuala Lumpur. Ambassador Kim, we're looking forward to your comments on the Republic of Korea.
Thank you very much, Ryan. I had the privilege of serving in Tokyo earlier in my career. In fact, I got together with some old friends last night, including Ryan's husband, Steve. So I asked him, do you have any advice since your wife is going to be moderating our panel discussion? And Steve said, well, Ambassador, do what I do. Just do whatever Ryan says. So if she says keep your remarks brief, keep them brief. Well, and I think I can keep them brief because I have a wonderful story to tell on the embassy's cooperation with AmCham Korea. It is a true partnership. In fact, we have embassy officers embedded in AmCham leadership. My econ, commercial and agriculture attaches participate in all of the key committees in the AmCham organization. I think probably the best way to sort of illustrate our close partnership is to discuss KORUS, the U.S.-Korea Free Trade Agreement. As the Deputy Secretary highlighted, it's going to bring huge benefits to both countries. Obviously, many people are responsible for this achievement. Our colleagues in USTR, Wendy Cutler, et cetera, have done great work negotiating an agreement. Huge support from the interagency. But I think a critical element of this success is the partnership that we had with AmCham. And let me describe 3 ways in which AmCham made this happen. And I think this applies overall to any situation, including perhaps TPP. One, obviously, undying support for the initiative from the very beginning. And it wasn't just convincing people in Washington, but they traveled throughout the country in the U.S. To sell the initiative throughout the negotiating process, and it paid huge dividends. They identified issues for us. Again, throughout the negotiating process, from the very beginning, they told us what issues were important to the industries. And finally, they helped us resolve them. I mean, we partnered with AmCham to reach out to the relevant ministries in Korea to try to deal with the issues that were presented in the negotiations, and it worked. Looking forward, obviously, our key goal for the embassy as well as the business community is making sure that the free trade agreement is implemented fully and faithfully. I know that AmCham has various initiatives planned already, including a conference on how to maximize benefits of KORUS. And I think that's important. Despite all of the publicity that the agreement has received, there's still a lot of misunderstanding and lack of awareness about all of the benefits that would accrue to both countries and companies of both countries. So I look forward to working with AmCham on sort of educating the general public and the business industry. One particular area that I think is quite interesting, and I know Ambassador Roos and Embassy Tokyo have already done great work on this, is how we can sort of, as AmCham and Embassy, can promote innovation entrepreneurship. And I think this fits nicely into the overall theme of the free trade agreement as well. More broadly, I want to help AmCham raise profile on all of the good community work that it's doing. It's doing a lot, but I don't think we get much credit for it. And as we all know in this region, public diplomacy is a huge part of our work. And so as AmCham does great work on corporate responsibility, social responsibility, I want to work them to make sure that the general public understands all of the good work that's being done by our business community. So thank you very much for this opportunity and look forward to a good discussion.